Hey guys, welcome to some time with God. It's it's kind of a something I've been wanting to talk about lately, and it's something that I kind of did on my own as a lesson, and then I kind of sorry, I have to grab this. I kind of did as a lesson and then thought this is actually a really good these are really good points, and I thought I'd just share them today. I've already kind of put up the part 2 of this, but I really wanted to share part 1 because I just think this verse and these verses are really good to help kind of frame the way the other kind of lessons and sermons and teachings go. And I think that this is kind of the start of the story, and I kind of just tried to skip over it because I was like, well, I've already done it, but I think it's really important to kind of reshare it. So it's about the burning bush with Moses, and it's from Exodus 3:1 to 4:17. So I'm going to read Exodus 3:1 to 4:17. Now Moses was keeping the flock of his father-in-law Jethro and the priest of Midian, and he led his flock to the west side of the wilderness and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. And the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush was burning, but it wasn't consumed. And Moses said, I will turn aside to see this great sight, why the bush is not burned. When the Lord saw that he turned aside to see, God called him out of the bush. Moses, Moses, he said. Here I am. Then he said, Don't come near. Take your sandals off your feet, for the place you are standing on is holy ground. He said, I'm the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look at God. The Lord said, I've surely seen the affliction of my people in Egypt. I've heard their cry because of their taskmasters. I know their sufferings, and I've come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians and bring them up to the land of good and broad land, a land flowing with milk and honey, to the place of the Canaanites, the Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. Behold, the cry of the people of Israel has come to me, and I've seen the oppression with which the Egyptians oppress them. Come, and I will send you to Pharaoh, that you may bring my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. But Moses said to God, Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the children of Israel out of Egypt? And God said, But I'll be with you, and this shall be the sign for you. I've sent you. When you've brought the people out of Egypt, you shall serve God on this mountain. And then Moses said, If I come to the people of Israel and say to them, The God of my fathers has sent me to you, and they ask, What's his name? What do I say to them? And God said, I am who I am. And he said, Say this to the people of Israel. I am has sent me to you. God said to Moses, Say this to the people of Israel. The Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, has sent me to you. This is my name forever, and I shall be remembered throughout all generations. Go gather the elders of Israel together and say to them, The Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, has appeared to me, saying, I've observed you and what has been done to you in Egypt. I promise I will bring you out of the land of affliction of Egypt, and the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites, and bring you to this land of milk and honey. And then skipping to 3:19, but I know that the king of Egypt will not let you go unless compelled by a mighty hand. I will stretch out my hand and strike Egypt with all the wonders that I will do in it. After that he will let you go, and I will give you this people in favor and sight of the Egyptians. But when you go, you should not go empty, but each woman shall ask of her neighbor, any woman who lives in her house, for silver and gold jewelry and your clothing. And then skipping to 4:1, and then Moses says, But behold, they won't believe me or listen to my voice. For they will say, The Lord didn't appear to you. And the Lord said, What is that in your hand? And he said, A staff. And he said, Throw it on the ground. So Moses throws it on the ground, and it becomes a serpent. And Moses ran away, and the Lord said, Put your hand out and catch its tail. So he put his hand out and caught it. And it became a staff in his hand, that they may believe that the Lord, the God of their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, has appeared to you. And he said, Put your hand in your cloak. And he puts it inside the cloak, and when he takes it out, his hand was leprous like snow. And God said, Put it on the back inside your cloak, and he put it back inside. When he took it out, it was restored like the rest of his flesh. If they don't believe you or listen to the first sign, they might believe the latter one. And if they don't believe even those two or listen to you, you shall take some of the water from now, pour it on the dry ground, and it will become blood. But Moses said to the Lord, My Lord, I'm not eloquent in the past or since you have spoken to your servant. I'm slow of speech and tongue. And the Lord said, "Who has made man's mouth? Who makes him mute, deaf? Who makes him see or blind? Isn't it I, the Lord? Now go, and I will be with you and teach you what you shall speak." And Moses said, "Lord, just send someone else." The anger of the Lord was kindled against Moses. He said, "Isn't there Aaron your brother the Levite? I know he speaks well. Behold, he's coming to meet you, and when he sees you, he'll be glad in his heart. You shall speak to him and put the words in his mouth, and I will be with you in your mouth and his, and I'll teach you both what to do. He shall speak for you to the people, and he'll be your mouth, and you shall be as God to him. And take in your hand the staff, with which you shall do the signs." So there's kind of a lot going on. I mean, this whole time, God's in the form of a burning bush. And I think we kind of forget about that. We say, well, yeah, God was in a bush, but I think God is still in this bush form, and the bush is on fire. He's in the fire, but the bush is not consumed. And this whole time, Moses is speaking to God, and it says that Moses hid his face because he was even afraid to look at God. It's like, not only is God in a bush, Moses can't even look at him. And it's crazy. And then also, he had to take his shoes off because the ground was holy. So you have to take your shoes off. Moses can't even look at God. And yet, the ways Moses is like, I can't do this. And it's really like kind of a weird thing. So the kind of main idea that we're going to be depicting today is how our responses are a reflection of ourselves more than God and more than the situation that God has put us in. And that's very true. So Moses is. God is in front of him, burning in this burning bush that isn't even like burning, like it's burning, but it's not consumed. Moses can't even look at him because it's just crazy, and he can't even have his shoes on. And God says, "I've seen the struggling of my people. I've seen their sufferings." And the first thing that Moses says is like, who am I? Who am I? His first response to the situation is, who am I? And I think that the Lord's response is actually pretty funny. It's like, I will be with you. It's like, he doesn't even acknowledge like, oh yeah, well, you're Moses. He doesn't even acknowledge Moses. He says, I will be with you. And that's just insane, right? Like, like God says, it doesn't matter who you are, I will be with you. I, the God of the universe, will be with you through this, and I will lead you through it. And it's an incredible kind of like, just like, like, who am I? And God says, I'll be with you. Like, he doesn't even acknowledge Moses, which I think is just kind of funny, but it's very true. Moses says, who am I? And it's not about, right, it wasn't about who Moses was. It was about who God was. And a couple verses that kind of go along with that are here in 17:5, when God renames Abram. And says, no longer shall you be called Abram, but your name shall be Abraham. So God kind of being identity. And the same thing, where you have to turn a little bit for this one, in Luke 1:28 and 38, where Luke 1:28, and he came near and said, greetings, O favored one, the Lord is with you. And then in 38, Mary said, behold, I am the servant of the Lord, let it be to me according to your word, and the angel departed from her. So those are just kind of two verses where it's like, well, the Lord is your identity, right? For Mary and Abram, the Lord was their identity. They, not in a way that they were like, oh, I'm God. No, in a way that was like, the Lord has given me my identity. Not the Lord being their identity. That was kind of a miscommunication, but more of like God has given me my identity. And that's what God's saying here. It's like, well, Moses, you're Moses, but I will be with you. I, the God of the universe, will be with you. So then Moses says, well, what do I say? And he says, the God of your fathers has sent me to you, and they asked me, what's his name? What do I say? And God says, just say, I have sent you. I am has sent you. Which, to be completely fair to Moses, I think in this story, it's really easy to blame Moses and be like, well, why didn't Moses just listen? I mean, it's the God of the universe, but, when you're told, just say, I am has sent you. And just, I am. And Moses is like, and God does obviously speak more on that, saying, the God of your fathers of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob has sent me to you, the God who is to be remembered through all generations. So God definitely has prepared him so much, because not only A, is God going to be with him, B, he tells them exactly what to say, and then Moses says, what if they don't listen to me? Okay, so behold, they don't listen to me or hear my voice, and they say the Lord didn't appear to you. God gives them 2 miracles. He gives them 3. He gives them the staff turning into a snake, and then back, and then the hand becoming having this horrible case of leprosy, and then just not, and then just having leprosy, and then he takes out the pocket again, and it's perfectly healed, and then turning the water into blood. And I mean, and God also does say during this before, I know that the king of Egypt won't let you go unless compelled by a mighty hand. So that wasn't really something that was mentioned in the major points, but I think it is very important to kind of look at, is like God says, I know that the king won't do it just because you're going to be there, but I'm going to be there. And it needs the mighty hand to be compelled. And Lord says, that's why I will be there. So then Moses says, I'm slow of speech. And he says, oh, my Lord, I'm not eloquent, either the past or since you've spoken to your servant. I am slow of speech and tongue. And the Lord says, who made your mouth? Who makes you speak? Who makes men hear? Who makes men see? God says, it's me. I am the one who's making this happen. And God says, I'm the one who's going to control your mouth, and I'm the one who makes you speak, and I'm the one who formed your mouth, and I am the one who I'm the one who made you, right? God says, I made you. And then Moses says, oh, my Lord, please send someone else. And God finally is like, no. God says, listen. He says, okay, there's Aaron, but you're still going to go with him, and fine. If you're not going to speak, you can remind Aaron what to say, and you will be there. And it's just crazy. So that was kind of the main point, is who am I? What do I say? What if they don't listen? I'm slow of speech. Send someone else. There's kind of 5 main points. But I think we're going to kind of go through the story and just see how worldly Moses' view was. So first he says, who am I? So Moses is saying, well, who am I? I mean, that's Pharaoh. I'm not in the court. I'm just this random, person who was just keeping the flock of my sheep for my father-in-law. I'm no one to Pharaoh. And God says, but I'll be with you. Moses is in this worldly kind of view, and to be fair, I mean, we wouldn't just go up to the president or go up to someone in a high position and just be like, oh, you're gonna do this, and you're gonna let all these people go, and you're gonna do this and this and this. You don't just do that. But God was speaking to Moses, and he's still in the burning bush when this is happening. And he says, but I'll be with you. So Moses is concerned about this kind of worldly thing, but then the God who created all this says, but I'll be with you. I mean, imagine the comfort in those words that every one of us would love to hear is just, but I'm with you. And God says it. But imagine God being right there next to you and saying, I will be with you to you. I can only imagine God saying, I will be with you. So then, not only does God say, I'll be with you, but then he says, but what do I say to them? I mean, yeah, okay, you've sent me, yeah, you're going to be with me. I mean, if that wasn't enough. And God says, tell them I has sent you. Tell them the God who will be remembered has sent you. I think that verse right there is really powerful and very nice. And it says, tell them that this is my name forever, and I am to be remembered through all the generations. And I think that's just so powerful because, I mean, the God who is to be remembered through every generation is telling you that you can go and you can tell them this because I'm to be remembered forever. And okay, and that's still not enough. Okay, that's still not enough. Okay. So Moses says, but if they don't listen, and God gives them 3 miracles. 3 miracles that clearly cannot just be done. No one just can turn water into blood. No one can just turn a staff or a stick into a snake. And so God gives them the 3 miracles. No one can just make themselves have this horrible skin disease and just be cured of it. And okay, so God gives Moses that. And still, Moses says, I'm slow of speech. I can't do this because I'm slow of speech. And I've never been really great with words. And God says, well, I made your mouth. So don't even worry about that. I made your mouth. It's fine. And still, Moses is like, just send someone else. And it's just such a human reaction. It's a very human reaction. It's God saying, I will be with you. I will send you. I know that you can't do it alone, so I will have my mighty hand there. I have formed you. I will speak for you. I will speak through you. I will be right there with you. I will, tell them that the God to be remembered through every generation has sent you. And Moses is saying, send someone else. And it's insane because imagine you go and you're doing something hard. I mean, to give Moses benefit of the doubt, he is going to Pharaoh to talk about, letting all of his enslaved people go. And the human reaction, the kind of going back to the point of our response is a reflection of ourselves, not of God and not of the situation. It doesn't, I can't imagine being in Moses' shoes, right? God is there. He is a burning bush right in front of you. You can't look at him and you can't have your shoes on. And still, you're like, God, no, I can't. Even though the God of the universe is saying, I will be with you. Tell them this. I will make you say this. I will have my mighty hand there. And it's crazy. It's just our way of saying, we want to be certain. We want to have a set in stone plan. We want to be able to have each skill and ability. We want to be able to we want to be able to have so much security. The security that we look for in other people. Moses saying, yeah, God, you'll be with me, but Pharaoh's a pretty high person. Well, I mean, imagine saying that Pharaoh's your biggest fear. when the God of the universe is just right in front of you? It's just insane to me. And it's really fascinating though. And I really do like just like analyzing this because it's very fascinating to me. But the notes I have is Moses brings a very worldly point of view. The same point of view that we hold. If you're doing a presentation, you like to know every single word you're going to say, when you're going to be doing it, how you need to prepare. But I think what could sum this story up pretty well is God is greater. Sure, Pharaoh might be powerful. God. Sure, the people may not listen to you, but the God of every generation has sent you to them. Tell them that. Okay, maybe they don't believe you. Well, here's 3 miracles that no one else could ever perform. Maybe you are not great with speaking. Who made your mouth? And sure, you want me to send someone else? Well, you're going. It's this point of us here, but God's here. Our planning's here, but God's always one step ahead of us. And right? The God of the universe is saying to Moses, and the God of the universe has said to us, I will be with you. So why do we still look for security? Why do we still look for certainty and for answers? Why do we try to plan every single thing? Why do we overcomplicate each situation when here's us, but there's God? I mean, yeah, we're not ever going to have any of the answers, and we're not going to be able to do it alone. But there's God. The God who created every single thing ever in a week. Us. God. The picture of us bringing this worldly point of view, but God saying, but I'm going to be with you. I mean, I can't imagine that. But it's real, you know? We can't imagine it, but God has said it to us through His Word. Sure, you might be confused or scared. You might want certainty, security. You might want a plan. You might want the answers. But I'm God. I mean, and that is such a concrete answer that we can't even like just fathom being in front of God and Him saying, it'll be okay because I'm the God of the universe. I think it's just getting out of our own way and saying, yeah, I don't have the answers. I don't know what I'm doing. But you know what? God does. God led me here for a reason. God has a plan. He's the one who controls everything. He's the one. Us. God. So that was just kind of an analyzation of the text and kind of a reflection of it. If you guys enjoyed it, please let me know. I would love to do this because that was only not even a full 2 chapters. And there are so many books. There are thousands of chapters in the Bible. And I just think that it would be very fun. And if you have any suggestions for how you would make it better or you would like it, please let me know, because this is just, it's God's word. Me, God. And I would love to share it. So please let me know if you have anything that you would rather be done different, or if you have a passage you'd like to hear, or if you have any thoughts on my analyzation of today, or just in general. I love to hear talk of God and about His Word. So today, again, the sermon was Exodus 3:1 to 4:17. I thank you for listening, and I hope you would come and join me again. Goodbye.